Okay. So in asynchronous uh, data transfer, you should know the data transfer is between what two devices. Okay. So this is very important topic. So we are studying about asynchronous data transfer, means a data transfer between a CPU. Till now we have discussed about memory reference instructions. Now when we have studied about peripheral devices called input and output devices, we will be getting input and output instructions. And those output instructions, when an input device is sending any data to the processor, and after completing, when a processor is sending any data transfer to the output device, for that, this is the data transfer between a CPU and an IO. Okay, so for this you can be having two types. One is asynchronous and the other one is asynchronous. And the other one is asynchronous. Synchronous is a same clock is applied, a same clock is used between two. For, let us suppose, internal CPU clock is used for every single clock period. Let us consider it transfers some data. Okay, but this is very a fast device. This is an electronic device where this is a electromechanical devices, where these are very slow. So within this single time period it can send thousands of words, but at that particular time it only can receive one word. So synchronize cannot be done between those two devices. So what is the other alternate approach is asynchronous. So asynchronous data transfer means depends upon which device is ready. So based on that it uses a concept called a bus. Okay, so try to concentrate. So whenever data is ready, so everyone in the class hope that how many different types of buses are there. So you'll be having a data bus, you'll be having an address bus, and you'll be having a control bus. Okay, which is nothing but control signals. Okay, so how internally asynchronous is maintained between those two devices is based on a control signal. So control signals need to be generated. Based on that, the external IO devices will able to know that there is some data has been placed in the data bus. So I need to accept that, so I need to receive that. So based on that, so we'll be this asynchronous approach is implemented with the help of a control signals. Okay, so for that we'll be having two techniques. Okay, we'll be having in asynchronous data transfer also, we'll be having two techniques. One is a strobe and the other one is a handshake. So first we'll be discussing about the strobe asynchronous data transfer. So in a strobe asynchronous data transfer also, so we are discussing asynchronous data transfer. In that we'll be having a strobe asynchronous data transfer. In this also we'll be having two types of strobe signals to be generated. One is source initiated data transfer, and the other one is a destination initiated data transfer. First one is a source initiated data transfer and the other one is a destination initiated data transfer. Okay, so let me start with the source initiated data transfer. Okay, so in the source initiated data transfer, one side will be having a source device and the other side will be having a destination. Okay, so I am not giving which is which, means what. Initially I said that the data transfer is between a processor and the IO device. Okay, so let us consider sources. In this case is CPU and in this case is IO. Okay, now let us consider CPU placed the data in the data bus and given an information to the destination unit. The CPU has placed the data in the data bus. Okay, so now after placing the data in the data bus, it has to give an information to the destination unit. In this case I have considered especially if it is placing the data, it will be output device. So I'm not specific, just I'm saying as destination unit places the data in the data bus, and after that, as it is synchronous, means after placing the data we are not mentioning the data is there, data is present, please try to take. Why? Because synchronous means we know the timings of the college. Like At 9 o'clock the first period starts, at 10 o'clock the second period starts. So there is no one will give an information saying that at 9 o'clock your CO subject will start, so open your books. So it's general, based on the internal clock, it tries to execute. So there is no signal has been generated saying that there is some class going on, you have to start. So that is synchronous. But synchronous will not work between these two devices. Why? Because the one device is very fast and the other device is very slow. So we went for asynchronous, and in that first we are studying about a strobe. Okay, so in the strobe also, who initiate first, whether a processor or whether the source unit initiates or whether the destination initiates. So first we are discussing about source initiated data transfer. Means source will place the data in the data bus and must give an information. So you for your friend, you want to give a gift. Okay, so you will be giving a gift and you will be saying that this is a gift from my side, something. Okay, so after placing the data in the data bus, it has to give an information to the destination unit that I have placed. So with the help of a signal called strobe signal, with the help of the signal called a strobe signal. So upon receiving the signal, destination unit knows that the valid data is available in the data bus, so it will collect the data from the data bus. This is about source initiated data transfer. Okay, so this is a strobe signal. The strobe control method of asynchronous data transfer employs a single control line. So control unit will be generated, just now I said no, asynchronous is maintained between using a control signal. Okay, so in this case see here, this is a source initiated data transfer using a strobe. So source initiated data transfer using the strobe signal, and the other one approach is the handshake. But let me start. Here we have a source unit, here we have a destination unit, and the source unit first places the data in the data bus and gives an information saying that the data is valid with the help of a strobe. Strobe here is a control signal to the destination unit. Upon receiving, the destination unit will accept the data from the data bus. So this is a block diagram. You even has to show a timing diagram as well. Okay, so timing diagram is first strobe signal is generated or data is placed in the data bus. Can you tell me, ma, sequence? Sequence is what, ma? First is, first it places the data in the database, right? So that's the reason first this is activated. So data is activated. So now after activating the data is in on the data bus, it gives it activates the strobe. So here after some time period, it activates the strobe saying that the destination unit to data is valid. So upon this, after some time period, it will disable this. Once it is disabled, so after this time, once this strobe signal is disabled, data from the data bus will be disabled, saying that data will be removed from that. Okay, so that it can be, that data bus can be used by the other devices for communication. This is source initiated. Okay, so I already said that strobe will be having two techniques. One is strobe initiated and the other one is destination initiated. The other one is destination initiated. See here, this one is a destination initiated data transfer. So in this case, so listen here, in this case, as usual, we'll be having source unit and destination unit. Here also we'll be having a source unit and destination unit. In this case, as it is destination initiated, so in this case, as source initiated, source will place the data in the data bus. This is the first step. Next, it places a control signal. It generates a control signal to the destination unit saying the data is valid. This is sequence, first one and second one. Okay, coming to this is the first. Why? Because destination initiated data transfer. First, destination will give a strobe signal saying that I want to accept, I am ready now, I want to accept the data. Okay, so once it is giving a strobe signal to the source unit, upon receiving that, source unit will place the data in the database. Okay, so that's the reason it is the name itself says that destination initiated strobe for data transfer. Means what? First it places first it generates a control signal saying that I'm ready to accept the data, please place the data on the database to source unit. So upon receiving, what source unit will do? Source unit will place the data on the database. Consider here it is CPU, and consider here it is IO devices. So CPU will give that I'm ready to accept the data. So well, by giving a control signal. So upon receiving, what IO will do? IO device, IO in this case is input device. So input device will place the data in the database. Upon placing, it receives the data. So this is about a destination initiated. Now based on this, which one has to be activated first, data or strobe?
Strobe, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So strobe has to be activated first. So here the strobe has activated. So after activating, see here, after some time period, so this has been, the data has been activated. Means why this time period means this is a time taken to receive this. So upon receiving, soon after receiving the signal, what source unit will do? Source unit will place the data on the database. So that's the reason this is a time period where it receives, and after receiving, this is a time taken to place the data in the database. Next, after that, what this will be doing is, after receiving the data from the database, destination unit, after receiving the data from the database, it disables this strobe signal is generated by the destination unit. So when this will be disabled is, once this has been accepted the data from the database, so it disables. That indicates upon disabling this strobe signal, the source unit will identify that the data has been received from the database. So it will also disables the data. Means what? Data will be removed from the database, so someone else can utilize that. Okay, this is about destination initiated strobe. So first, destination initiates a strobe signal saying that I'm ready to accept the data. So upon receiving it, immediately places the data in the database. But how much time it places is, it depends upon, once this strobe signal is disabled, that indicates that source will have an idea that the destination unit has been accepted the data which is placed in the database. So it now no need to place the data, so I can remove the data. In such case, soon after it disables it, after some time period, it also disables the data from the database. This is about destination initiated data transfer using a strobe signal. Okay, so but we have a drawbacks, we have a disadvantages in this. Let me go for the first disadvantage. Okay, so in this first disadvantage is what? Try to concentrate. Source unit first places the data, and this is the first one, right? This is source initiated. So we discussed about strobe. In that we'll be having a source initiated, and the other one is destination initiated. Now we'll be discussing about the disadvantages of source initiated data transfer. In this source initiated data transfer, source places the data in the database, and it gives information that the valid data is available with the help of a control signal. Okay, now after that, the destination unit, after receiving the data from the database, so it disables okay, but so,
Ma'am, we
but
can't hear you, ma'am.
I will not be getting any post a letter. So you will be posting some now.
Ma'am,
It's not
now it
audible.
is audible, ma'am. Till now, around 2 minutes, it was not audible.
Okay. Now it is clear, no? So can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are in the disadvantages of source initiated strobe data transfer. So the disadvantage in this case is the source will not get any acknowledgement from the destination unit. Okay, the source will not get any acknowledgement from the destination unit whether the data that the source has placed in the database, whether the destination unit has received or not. If we take olden days letter posting, so if you give any one address and when you will if you post a letter, so what happened, the received one will not, you will not be getting any acknowledgement until and unless the other person must give a reply, say must write a letter to you saying that the letter that you have sent has been received. Okay, so in this case also the same way, the source has placed the data in the database, but the destination unit is not giving any acknowledgement that the data that you placed has been received or not. That is a drawback in source initiated data transfer. So whereas in destination initiated data transfer, can anyone guess what will be the drawback in this? In the source initiated data transfer, it places the data and it gives a signal to the destination unit. But upon receiving, whether destination unit has received the data or not, will not be getting any acknowledgement from this. Okay, that is a source initiated. Can you guess in destination initiated what's the problem? See here, the destination unit gives a strobe signal that I am ready to accept the data. Okay, so it has to place the data in the database, then it accepts the data from that. Okay, so after this, let us consider this is busy. This is busy, and it has not placed the data, but the already some other data is available in that. So it has been considered as the source unit has placed the data and it has received that. That means what? Even source must give an information that upon receiving that a valid data is available. Okay, valid data is available. So in this case what happens, ma? From a source unit will not be getting any acknowledgement whether the valid data is available on the database. Okay, so that is a problem in destination initiated data transfer. Okay, remember, understood, ma? What's the drawback in source initiated is source will not get any acknowledgement from the destination unit, whether the data has been received. Whereas in destination initiated, what's the problem, ma? What's the problem in disadvantage in destination initiated strobe data transfer, ma? Am I audible? Yes, what's the disadvantage, ma? Fast. What's the problem in destination initiated? Anyone, please? I will see for 2 minutes, then I will select any one student. Fast. Here, the destination unit will give a strobe signal saying that I am ready to accept the data. Upon receiving, what source unit will do? Source unit will place the data in the database. Okay, let us suppose, the source unit is not giving any acknowledgement that the valid data is available. Okay, valid data is available. That is a problem. That is a problem here. Why? Because upon receiving, let us consider for sake of understanding, the source unit is busy in doing some other work. Okay, so meanwhile what destination unit will consider is, after this some amount of time, it checks a valid data, it checks the data, and whatever the data it is available, it tries to consider even the source unit has not placed, some other device has placed. Means what? We should get an acknowledgement from the source unit saying that I place the data upon receiving your strobe signal, so kindly take that data which is a valid data. Okay, so that is a problem in destination initiated strobe. Anyone, ma? Tell me the disadvantage of source initiated data transfer. Tell me the disadvantage of source initiated data transfer, ma. Source initiated data transfer acknowledgement. You will not be getting acknowledgement
When
from.
when you reach the destination, it will not get any information, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Destination unit, upon receiving the valid data, will not be giving any acknowledgement to the source that data has been received. And similarly, in the destination initiated, what's a disadvantage, ma?
Ma'am, your voice is striking, ma'am.
Yes, ma. Now is it audible? Is it
Yes,
clear?
ma'am. Audible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay. Now, what's the drawback in destination initiated data transfer? I'm asking. Destination initiated data transfer means destination unit will give a strobe signal to the source that I am ready to accept the data. Upon receiving, the source unit will place the data in the database. But what's the problem in this? ఏముందమ్మా ప్రాబ్లమా? What's the problem in
So what
this?
did you signal that whether valid input is there or not?
Yes, very good. So it is requesting I'm ready to accept the data. Source will place the data in the database, but after that, it even has to give an acknowledgement saying that the valid data is available. Valid data is available in the database. So if it is not giving any acknowledgement, it can take the destination unit can take some other data in the database, which is placed by some other device. Okay, so that is a drawback of destination initiated data transfer. Okay, is it clear, ma?
Yes, ma'am. There is no surety.
Okay.
Surety is not there, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So that's the reason we are going for this. See here, disadvantage of strobe signal. The disadvantage of a strobe method is that the source unit initiates the transfer, has no way of knowing whether the destination unit has actually received the data item that was placed in the bus. And similarly, a destination unit that initiates the transfer has no way of knowing whether the source unit has actually placed the data on the bus. To solve these two problems, we are going for a handshake method. Okay. So in this handshake method,
Ma'am,
strobe
again your voice started breaking.
signals, we are generated only one control. We are using just a minute. Now,
Ma'am?
see. So now we are now is my Yes, ma'am. It was disconnected. Now, am I audible? Is my voice clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Okay. So, as we is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible, ma'am.
Okay. So, as we have, these are the disadvantages of a strobe. So, we are going for a handshake. So, in this handshake, we are using a true control signals, whereas in a strobe, we have used only one control signal. And in this, we are using the control signals too for getting an acknowledgement from the destination unit if it is source initiated data transfer, and for getting an acknowledgement from source unit if it is a destination initiated data transfer. Okay, so same in a handshake also, we'll be having two techniques in this. One is source initiated data transfer, and the other one is a destination initiated data transfer. Okay, so the problems that we have discussed just now, source initiated data transfer will not have any acknowledgement from the destination unit whether the destination unit has received the data from the data bus, same like a postal letter. Okay, so until and unless you will be the other person shares a letter to your address that the letter that you have posted has been received, and yes, by saying the acknowledgement, then only it can identify that the data which is placed has been received. So even both you have its own disadvantages. To overcome that, we are going for a handshaking. So in a handshaking, you will be using again source initiated transfer using handshake, and destination initiated transfer using a handshake. So let's start with the source initiated. Okay, source initiated data transfer. See here, try to see here, we have a source unit. Consider the source unit as CPU, and the destination unit consider as an IO devices. I already mentioned clearly that the data transfer is between a processor and a IO devices. Okay, as the speed between those, the processor is very fast device, where the external peripheral devices are very slow. So synchronizing between two is not possible, so we went for asynchronous. So in asynchronous, we are implementing with the help of a control signals. Okay, so for the first one called a strobe, we are implemented a single control signal, but in that, if you implement using a single control signal, acknowledgement is missing. So to overcome that, we went for the one more new technique called handshaking, where in this you will be using a two control signals. See here, try to concentrate. Source unit first places the data. See here, this one plays the data on the data bus first. This is the first one. Okay, so first it places the data in the data bus, then it enables the data which is available on the data bus is valid by, this is the second sequence, and after that, so it enables the data valid signal, and after receiving this to the destination unit will accept the data from the bus by enabling la. Are you getting the flow? So in this case, the one which is missed in the strobe is this one, the third one. Okay, so both are same. It places the data in the data bus, and instead of data valid signal there in a strobe, it is a strobe signal. But here, data valid signal is sent, but third one was not there in the strobe. But now in the handshake, it is giving a reply that data has been accepted. So see here, this is a sequence of events. First, place the data on the bus, and the source unit will place the data on the bus and will enter data valid. Okay, so upon accepting the data from the bus, it enables the data accepted. And once the data has been accepted, then it disables the data valid signal, and it invalidates the data on the bus, and it disables the data accepted signal. So this we'll be seeing with the help of a timing diagrams, the same concept. So we there are three One is a block diagram, and the other one is a timing diagram, and the other one is a sequence of events, and the other one is a sequence of events. Okay, and we are now, the block diagram and sequence of events are done. Now we'll be going for a timing diagram. First it places a data. First it places a data, then it validates that the data valid signal is available. Then after that, after some time period, so this is a time period, it has taken to data accepted signal, so it has been accepted. Okay, so data has been accepted. So once it gives a reply that data has been accepted, upon receiving this, see here, this is a sequence. Upon receiving the data has been accepted from the destination unit, what source unit has to do, ma? Can anyone? Upon receiving that, the destination unit will give a control signal that data has been accepted. Upon that, what source unit has to do? See the timing diagram and tell what source unit has to do. Must disable డేటా యాక్సెప్ట్ అయింది అనగానే ఏం చేయాలి సోర్స్ యూనిట్?
It should disable the data in the database.
Yes ma, very good. So it has to disable the data valid control signal, and it has to disable the data from the data bus. So that's the reason that upon receiving this signal, data accepted signal from the destination unit, the source unit has to, upon receiving this, the source unit has to disable data valid signal. At the same time, the source unit has to disable the data from the data bus. This is about source initiated data transfer using a handshake. Where you'll be having one more which is very important, is where the drawback in a Strobe was missing is data accepted. So in this, it has a clear idea about a source, that whatever the source has placed the data in the data bus, the data has been accepted by the destination unit. Why? Because we are maintaining one more control signal from a destination unit, will get a reply and acknowledgement to the source. This is about source initiated data transfer. Now before going for the destination initiated data transfer, first tell me what's the drawback in our destination initiated data transfer using Strobe? డ్రాబ్యాక్ డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏముండే అమ్మా స్ట్రోబ్లో, డెస్టినేషన్ ఇనిషియేటెడ్ డేటా ట్రాన్స్ఫర్లో? ఫాస్ట్ ఎనీవన్? The destination unit will not have,
it will not know whether the source unit has actually placed the data in the bus.
very good, very good. Yes ma, very good. So the destination unit will not have an idea whether the source unit has actually placed the data on the data bus. Okay, so for that we have introduced one more called a handshake. So in this handshake, what we'll be doing is, first, can anyone tell me, first it places it in the destination unit, first this has to be initiated. Okay, so see here the directions, will it be placed, the sequence is what? Is it one? This one is one in destination initiated? Which one is one? Sequence, I'm asking sequence. Is it one? It places the data in the data bus source.
No, ma'am, first ready
Yes.
for data. No.
Yes. So ready for data. So destination unit first gives a signal, say, to the source unit that I'm ready to accept data. So please place a valid data on the data bus so that I will be accepting. So upon receiving that, where in a Strobe, it places the data, and this was not there. So this was not there, called data valid. Okay, but now it, upon receiving ready for data, it places the data on the data bus. This is your second. See here, place the data on the data bus, then it enables the data valid signal. This is a flow where this was missing in the Strobe, where we have included this acknowledgement from the source to the destination that data valid data is available, where a source unit has placed the data. So this be based on source unit. So this is a sequence of events. So in the sequence of events, first destination unit ready to accept data. So once it is ready to accept the data, it enables enable ready for data. After enabling it, signal will be received by the source unit. So upon the signal has been received by the source unit, immediately the source unit will place the data in the data bus, and it enables the data valid signal. So places the data on bus and it enables the data valid signal. Okay. So upon that, once if it accept data from the bus, once it has been accepted, what it has to do, it has to disable the ready for data. Once it has been disabled, means automatically the source unit has to disable the data valid signal and the data from the data. Will be doing once it has been disabled, it disables the data lead and validates the data on the bus. This is a sequence of events. Okay, so this one is done, this one is done. Now next is a timing diagram. So in a timing diagram, first this is the first flow ready for data. So this is high. Okay, why? Because this is first one, this is second event, and this is the third one, data valid. Okay, so this is high ready for data. This is enabled first. Upon this, once the signal has been received by the source unit, source unit immediately places the data. See, this is the one. Upon receiving this, it places the data. After that, after some amount of time, it activates that the data valid. So this time period, in order to activate this time period, and after that, when this two will be disabled, can anyone? When source unit will disable data valid, and when invalidates the data from the data bus, source unit, when, until how much time it places the data in the data bus? Until until
The ready for data is high.
yes, yes, until ready for data is high, means it is still accepting the data from the database, means it is still receiving the data from the database. Until that, this will be in enabled mode. So this will be in enabled mode. So when this will be in disabled is that once this is disabled, it indirectly saying information to the source that the data which you placed in the database, I have received the data. So you can invalidate that. So once this is disabled, the destination unit is giving information to the source unit that I have received the data that you placed in the database. So you disable the data valid signal and they invalidate the data from the database. So upon this, it invalidates the data and it disables the data valid signal and it removes the data from the database. So this is about asynchronous data transfer using destination unit.